Hello, I'm Daniel, and this is part 4 of my 7-7 series. Today, I want to talk to you about opposition. Now, this goes back to when I was on holiday. I was writing Facebook posts daily regarding to Jesus or the Bible, and some people had unfriended me during this period, and I didn't know about that. I was told by a third person. Now, over text, I was told I was being unfriended due to my Facebook posts about preaching, and I mentioned to this third person that the Big Bang and the start of Genesis, which is the first book in the Bible, go hand in hand together. That logically the universe had to be created by something. It couldn't have come to existence by itself, and it couldn't have been created by nothing, because nothing means no thing. And if it was created by itself, then that's illogical, because nothing can create itself. It has to be created by something, and for us Christians, we call that something God. Now, logically, that makes sense. That without even a shadow of doubt, that makes sense. Now, this person told me that everything I just basically said was nonsense against logic, and the fact that by posting these Facebook posts and so on, I could get in a lot of trouble as I'm offending people. Well, guess what? The Bible does offend. I was offending people because the Bible does offend. And who does it offend? It offends sinners. People who have, as I previously mentioned in one of my previous videos, if sinners are people who, reject God, they don't want anything to do with God, and they don't live in God's ways. That's the most important part of that. That they don't know God, and they don't want, they don't live in how He wants them to live. Now, biblically, I have a right to share. Socially, like media, like social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Socially, in a legal sense, I have a right to share. I'm not allowed to judge, sinners. I'm not allowed to judge because only God can judge. And how do I know I'm allowed to share biblically? Well, using Mark 16:15, Jesus said to His followers before His ascension into heaven, He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the good news to all creation." See, it's as simple as that. With Jesus saying it, who is the Son of God, but we are to go into all the world, and preach the good news that God came down from heaven into earth, known as Jesus. He died on a cross for us. He shed His blood for us. He died, was buried in a tomb. 3 days later, rose back to physical life, and now sits at the right hand of God. That's the most basic way I can say that. Anyway, the point is, even non-Christians agree that Jesus was a real person, historically and everything. And I was beyond shocked that it was only at this point that the people who had unfriended me because they were getting offended. Because, as simple as this is, I've been sharing things about God, the Bible, Jesus, Holy Spirit, whatever. I've been sharing all that stuff on Facebook for years and years. Almost the entire time I've been on Facebook, mostly. And yet, the thing I was shocked about was, why are these people only getting offended now? Maybe because the word's powerful? I don't know, probably. But anyway, and I presented to the third person who I was talking to some of the 10 Commandments. And like I said in my previous video, the power of love, if you're guilty of breaking one commandment, you might as well be guilty of breaking all of them. And as I said in Mark 16, as Jesus said in Mark 16:15, all I have to do is inform. I have a right to inform. Because face it, folks, I've made my choice. I can't make you choose Jesus, but that's why we're told to go out into all the world and preach the name to you lot, because you don't know, and you have a right to choose. You have a right to know Jesus should you want. And I gotta admit, when I was doing this conversation, I was getting a bit angst. I was getting a bit mixed up inside, almost to a point of anger. But I kept calm. I took a breather. I just carried on, and I just, stayed calm throughout. But the point is, a Christian, a real Christian, especially when they evangelise, they're going to face opposition. They're going to face retribution or rebuke. They're going to get told off. They're going to be told they shouldn't be teaching that stuff. They shouldn't be preaching that stuff. Well, if Jesus says we're allowed to do it, if Jesus says we're allowed to go out and share the word about him, if that's what Jesus told us, which we know he has because it's in the Bible, then that's what we must do. We must go out and evangelise. And that's what I really want to talk to you today about. Not necessarily about the evangelism, which is brilliant and which is what you should be doing. But, if you've never faced opposition as a Christian before, well, you're going to. And you might as well be told this now, so it's something to expect. And, it's just something good to know. So thank you for watching. Leave a like, share it, comment, whatever. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you and God bless.